back. Okay. Let me get these links out and then we can dive straight into it. Um, it is officially the final live stream of the month. So let's see what we can get, guys. This morning, nice trading session. In all fairness, cashed in some very nice profit. A few break evens. I mean, yeah, things were kind of not moving amazing. Again, kind of as expected. We're getting core PC price index figures coming out at 130, so markets are going to set up a little bit for that. Now, yeah, so we cashed in on all of our kind of traditional market trades. Okay, so they all came in very nicely. So on that side of things, beautiful. Crypto is just kind of warming up. Right, we did cash in some profit this morning, but we have a couple. So we have Matic open, we have Algo. Algo is a medium-term play, so we don't need to bring that into the picture just yet, unless things really just kind of plummet. But yeah, Matic, we've opened another position on a different altcoin. Yeah, let's see kind of how things are playing out. Now, prices did come down. They broke through the trend line ever so briefly. On the stream this morning, I did kind of emphasize on this level here holding. Now, that's exactly the level that it came down to. It's held and we're rebounding back up. Remember, guys, as a rule of thumb, your horizontal levels hold more strength within your TA than your diagonal levels. Okay, so yeah, we did break through trend line, but we came perfectly to that horizontal level. Okay, so yeah, just bear that in mind. Let's see what we can get. 2 seconds. Okay. But yeah, those that are joining us, welcome. Okay. Let's see what we can get. Again, as mentioned, final live stream of the month of March and the end of month report for both crypto and kind of your traditional markets will be released after this live stream or later on today. But yeah, fantastic month, and you will see on those reports. Yeah, let's see what we can get. Let's see what we can get. Now, gold made a nice pullback. Okay, we went back into structure. We'll kind of let it do its thing. If we continue holding onto this level here, then we can start kind of looking for a long position. Nat gas. Okay, we got in this morning on a long position, straight to that 50. We cashed out. Again, beautiful trade. Now it's obviously kind of rebounding off that 50 back down, and then oil. So yeah, commodities treated us very, very nicely. So we got in for the breakout and broke out. We cashed out a little bit before, but yeah, again, a beautiful trade. So far so good. Let's see what we can get throughout this session. Again, we should see some nice volatility. So yeah, let's see. Why does my stock freeze? I'll abbreviate on that. Are you on about my stream freezing or yeah? If the stream is freezing, just let me know. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Yeah, I mean, let's see what we can get, guys. Let's see what we can get. It's just going to start warming up. Obviously, we get the PC prices at 1:30 UK time, so about 40, like just under 45 minutes. And then things should start to pick up. That PCE is the final part of the data for the whole month. Okay, so we should see some nice price action off the back end, and then yeah, we'll see cash in profits. And then yeah, we just relax for the weekend, and then come back, and it's a brand new month, brand new quarter, fresh opportunities. Um, yeah, fresh slate, new month, new monthly report. So yeah, it can only well, I can say it can only be good, but realistically, you never know. Um, but this month again, absolutely amazing. This month, amazing, amazing, amazing. Uh, I live in an engineered landfill. Maybe that's why. Right. Okay. Um. Is the stream freezing for anyone else, or is the stream actually alright? So let me know in the chat section, because if it is freezing, I'll have to sort that out. This is relatively important. Relatively important training session. Um, good morning, friend. What do you think about the dollar index? Now I'm in a buy position. Looks good. Now, just do bear in mind, I mean, PCE prices are coming out, so yeah, if PCE comes down, this is more than likely to push down as well. It's a nice rebound. I'm not saying it's rebounding nicely off that trend line, but again, you have to look at the forecast, because PCE prices are coming out, and if PCE prices do come down, that is going to push the dollar index down. So just bear that in mind. Um, yeah. So the way that I'm looking at, I'm expecting PC prices to come down. For crypto to actually make a push up higher. Um, yeah. For the end of the month, there's gonna be a bit of volatility. Something's gonna have to kind of give a little bit today. Um, yeah, it's the last day of the month, so things are the way that everything's kind of aligned. Last day of the month, last day of the quarter. It's Friday, so last day of the week, of the trading week. Sorry, and then also we get core PC prices. It's kind of built for price movements. Yeah, just be careful. The thing is that it's a on the lower time frame, it looks good, because we have come down. We failed to kind of push past this point here, and we've rebounded. There's also a gap up and above, which kind of indicates, okay, if we continue, prices should push and fill that level. So yeah, could be one. I mean, core PC. Who knows what core PC prices are going to come in at? If it comes in at a relatively unchanged, then you're probably going to see this continue pushing up, because realistically, we need to be seeing those core PC prices actually coming down by a decent amount. If it's relatively unchanged, it's not a good sign. Which again, this is you will see dollar index kind of pushing up, higher up, and setting itself up for the next labour market data coming out next week. But yeah, guys, welcome. As always, feel free to touch base with us in the chat section. Um, Again, as mentioned, this is the final live stream of the month. We will get out those end of month reports later on tonight. Okay. Yeah, the crypto side of things, just insane. Massive, massive, massive month. Um, yeah, great, 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 great. And guys, I do apologize. I know I've been saying I'll get a crypto market update out. I will get it out tonight. I promise. And we'll let kind of all the price action kind of get out of the way, all of the data get out of the way, and then we can come back. Just because, I mean, the structure is kind of relatively unchanged, and we go through updates on these live streams. Okay, so obviously we go live morning, afternoon, sometimes in the evening. And every time we go on live, we do a market update anyway. Um, so yeah, let's see how things kind of play out. But yeah, I'll get a market update out for you all later on. Again, remember, it does not get uploaded to TradingView, so you will not find it on TradingView. We only do live streams on here. I'm a beginner. Can you give me some tips, please? Okay. Yeah, did we get a lot of this? Just get the basics. Don't. If you're literally just a beginner, right? Don't even think about going and throwing money on trades, your own money on trades yet. Just concentrate on learning. Yeah. Just literally concentrate on learning, getting the fundamentals, the basics, so your support and resistance. Again, it kind of depends on what strategy you are most comfortable with. You need to kind of find your niche, right? Tune into people's live streams, watch them how they go through their kind of technical analysis, their trades, and whatever makes more sense to you and you kind of are more comfortable with understanding, just go with that. Understand the kind of technicals to their strategy. So what's it's support and resistance, your supply and demand zone, so your order blocks, how you kind of read and breaks of structure, are you using volume, stuff like that. Then you can you kind of you know what you're going for, and then you can learn things in the right direction. But yeah, don't concentrate on chucking your own money. Use that money and actually learn. Pay for someone to teach you, or buy a course, or pay for some books. Things like that is at the very start. You're putting your money better use than just trying to trade. You're gonna fail and you're gonna lose it. So it's just gonna cause you stress. I'm a beginner. Can you give me guidelines? Again, exactly what I said. Right, just concentrate on just learning the basics, my man. Don't be going into it thinking it's a get rich quick scheme. Okay, this takes years to fine tune. Okay, it's not something that you will pick up realistically within a year or 2 years. Right, it's a journey. Okay, just yeah, you gotta put a lot of time and effort into it. And your mindset needs to be for the long term, not short term. It's not something that I can learn 6 months in and then I'll be profitable. It's just not gonna work. What's your net worth? Don't know what you want me to say to that, to be honest. I think it's a bit of a strange question to be asking, what's your net worth? But yeah.
Your clients all have unique financial journeys, so why should their investment options be one size fits all? When you partner with Commonwealth Financial Network, you gain access to a comprehensive range of holistic investment solutions that you can customize according to your client's goals. Welcome to financial flexibility. Welcome to Commonwealth. To learn more, visit commonwealth.com.
Can I? Okay, we've got a lot of beginners in here, haven't we? Okay, we may as well just go through something quickly then. Okay, so I mean, the very basic is, in terms of technical analysis, how to draw your support and resistance. It's simple. Now, support and resistance really is or holds a lot more strength when you're on a higher time frame, for instance, right? So support and resistance can be anything like a all-time high and all-time low. So, for instance, something like this, okay, will hold strength. You place that as a level. Something like this, you place as a level again here. That's essentially all that you really want, right? In terms of support and resistance. So your resistance lines are where price push up to, and so go from below to up. So for instance, resistance prices have come from under and pushed higher, hit resistance, so a ceiling technically, and then support. Its price have come down and hit support. Okay, got support from price, support in terms of pushing price back up. Okay, so that's where you would have it there. But yeah, I just get so support resistance, how to map out market structure, understanding market cycles, um, volume. So volume is very important. Price action. So supply and demand zone. So like all your order blocks. That's a good kind of starting base. That should be enough for a while. Currently investing in UK pound to US dollar, working great for me. Okay, so what are the okay? Yeah, those are your starting points. What else have we got here? BTC choppy still, not seeing much opportunity. Okay. I mean, I don't know about Bitcoin being choppy. It's not really doing much to be honest, but um, yeah, it's holding off. Right, about 29 minutes away from that PCE price. Should start to see price kind of do its thing. But yeah, I don't know what you mean by choppy because I don't think it is choppy. This isn't choppy price action, Michael. Joseph. Um, yeah, it's moving accordingly, if anything, actually. Um, yeah. I mean, it's probably going to be choppy on the release of that core PCE price. But yeah, things are just loading up nicely. Okay, so what are the tips? Again, I've given you the tips. Support and resistance, break of structure, supply and demand zone, so like your order blocks, basic volume indicators, so understanding the relationship between price and volume.
And this really is the key point. We've been talking all about potential disinflationary credit tightening from bigger and smaller banks alike. We've seen it already in the data. A lot of Fed officials have come out and talked about the acceleration of that credit tightening, and yet it isn't crimping inflation yet. So how is the market going to respond if this data that we get, the core PCE, that key indicator that the Fed looks at, comes in hotter than expected? When you talk about
Yeah.
Europe, we did get weaker than expected headline numbers because of energy disinflation, but ongoing strength in core, reaching new record highs. Just let's just take a moment for a second. We're closing out. This is the last trading day of this quarter, and it has been
That's true. Core CPI on month for the EU actually went up by 1.2%. Um, so again, showing signs of revival, which is going to push that narrative and of stagflation. Um, again, that is not good. Thank you for the follows. Thank you for the likes as well, guys. Very much appreciated. We are nearly on 1,800 followers. Very, very close. Let's see if we can hit it this stream.
correct. It's a really good statement.
Yeah, we're not too far.
As people basically
But yeah, I mean, let's see how PCE prices come out really, and then we can kind of go from there. But yeah,
And there's one answer when there's unmeasurable uncertainty, and that means buy stocks, essentially, because that's what we've seen so far in the past 3 months. Just giving you a sense of where we are. The S&P up about 6% so far year to date, and just the shocking outperformance has come from the big tech complex, with the Nasdaq up
what have we got? What have we
more than
got? What have we
15%
got?
so far in the first 3 months of 2023. Well, okay, so then you throw the all right. You keep mentioning the political maelstrom. We know that the former President Trump
There
has
goes your
been
natural
arrested
gas.
by New York authorities. He's going to be arraigned on Tuesday. He hasn't yet had the actual complaint revealed, so we don't know the details. But we are getting reaction from a lot of different political operatives. We're also getting a sense of what this might mean for policy for the presidential election upcoming. Anne-Marie Hordern, our Bloomberg Washington correspondent, joining us now. We've had this news, we've digested it less than 24 hours, maybe 12 hours. What's been your biggest takeaway from this whole affair?
Well, there's too many questions, right? That's my takeaway. I think everyone's coming out and making a lot of statements, but we just don't know yet. As you mentioned, this indictment is under seal. We probably will not know what these charges are until the former president shows up for his arraignment, which is going to be Tuesday. What we do see is already a polarized America, and this is just going to harden that polarization. And it is a historic moment, of course, in American history and American law, but there's still so many questions.
Setting up some structure, dollar.
What
It's going to be an interesting PCE. So
the yes,
let's
the
hope it
ultimate
plays
question
in our
is
favor today.
politically motivated.
Again,
And I think that with
let's
this
end the month on a real high note. I mean, this morning was fantastic. So let's see if we can just get something nice on that crypto front. Crypto's kind of been holding off really
In terms of how
for
we
this
think
figure.
about this
So
indictment. No, no, no. Don't embarrass me like that in New York. Watson. I will just say that the prosecutor offices are all slightly different, whether it's federal, whether it's state. We're dealing with the state here, not federal, which is interesting in and of itself and raises some issues. So we are going to parse through all of the details. What I've been looking at is the overall implications, and I go to polling because I want to understand what the larger social implications are for the United States, both nationally and internationally, for policy perspective. Last year, a Gallup poll, I thought this was fascinating, found that only 14% of respondents had, quote, a great deal of faith in the criminal justice system. That's down 20% from 2 years earlier.
patience.
Most Americans are already convinced that the prosecutor's
Okay, so
office
that's
is going
broken
to
through
do its
structure
job.
there.
Reuters Ipsos poll found that 54 respondents, including 80% of Republicans, thought that this was politically motivated. So this is how people are reading it in the public. And a March 29th Fox News poll found that Trump was expanding his lead over the Republican presidential candidate to 54%, followed by DeSantis at 24%. So President Trump, former President Trump, has a greater chance of being the Republican candidate as a result of this, and
100%.
perhaps, and that is basically the big
He will
takeaway.
run on grievances. I am a martyr, and he's campaigning on it. What did they do last night? Immediately, within minutes, they sent out campaign emails. Remember, when the FBI was about to go into Mar-a-Lago, he was bringing in $180,000 about a day in campaign funds. This is how he makes money. The issue he has in the latest polling is, yes, maybe he'll be the candidate, but Biden still beats him in the polling. It is going to be polarized. It is going to be completely polarized. Yes, the people you will not hear from, though, the officials you will not hear from, is the White House. They are going to be silent on this. They go the former president, the president
former president is in Mar-a-Lago, potentially concerned about what his political future looks like, what his legal future looks like. The current president will be in Mississippi touring these devastating tornado ruins.
We're going to run to what we really do on Bloomberg Surveillance. Balance of Power tonight. Henry Horton and Joe Matthew. Kaylee Lyons has the Friday off. Look for that at 5 p.m. Michael McKee now with us, 20 minutes away from key economic data. Michael McKee, I see in your vectors of inflation are
Right.
top line and core. Are we as confused in
Are we getting some movement? That's the question.
top line inflation and core inflation?
I don't think so, Tom.
What's
We're
God
pretty
doing?
much, happy with the way things are going.
Percent structure.
Essentially, you're seeing the same thing as in Europe. Energy prices falling, that bringing down the overall index. We're making progress there, but it's the core that the Fed is worried about, and we'll get the PCE version of those numbers today. And they're watching, as they have said, core services. And the fact
Let's have a little look at these FX pairs. See if we can get anything.
cost is labor, and labor prices have still been
Just
going
move
up.
that across. Keep it nice and organized.
Progress that they're making against inflation, and it's sort of a race between the other two numbers, income and spending, because is the economy slowing faster than inflation? That's going to be the question for the Fed.
Mike, you asked one of the best questions of all
Hmm.
that meeting when you talked about what do you think the market is pricing in rate cuts at a time when you keep saying that it's not on the table. How much have you gleaned from Fed officials about how much they're willing to push back on a market that has gotten way ahead of them?
They're willing to push back, but I think they're more or less waiting for the data to push back at the markets. And if inflation still comes in at strong levels and the economy hangs in there, that makes the case that the markets are wrong, that they're not going to have to cut rates because we're not falling into recession. So they're going to wait and maybe let the data do their work for them.
Michael McKee, thank you so much. We'll see you again here in 19 minutes. Mr. McKee at the meetings of the National Association for Business Economics.
Just doesn't look too bad. A little bit of a setup. Could make a push towards this liquidity zone just down here.
Well,
5%'s a round number.
well, and we've come down to
It's a potential trade.
going into those money market accounts. The tension to me is, what does it take for people to want to put their money in cash? It means a lack of optimism for the rest of the economy that you can
We'll have it at the bottom here. See
corporations from risk
how things kind of play out.
the bigger gains. And to me, that is the question, the sort of tension underpinning why some of the recent moves don't really add up to a lot of people.
Maybe it's price up, yield down, because you're 100% right. We're not at 5% now on the various short-term paper, but 3-month LIBOR, and being a fossil, that's what I quote, 5.19% on 3-month LIBOR. And I'm in the camp with the zeitgeist of the last 48 hours that, okay, the drama's over. Silicon Valley Bank and the rest of it. But now the emotion...
This is setting up some nice structure as well.
And now the emotion starts of banks saying, oh yeah, I'm not going to give you that extra credit.
5%.
Just relatively, I mean, buy side kind of dropped off on those two candles. So hopefully we can hold, make a push towards here. It's not going to be exactly a huge trade, but it's a potential on the cards. Actually, just to the top.
Now the latest news from New York City and around the world. Here's Michael Barr.
Tom, Lisa, former President Donald Trump has been indicted by
Yeah,
a
it's
grand jury
it's not perfect, but
after years of investigations into his personal, political, and business dealings. The exact
USD candles. Look.
because the indictment
Do.
payments made during the 2016 presidential campaign.
I shot Sheriff.
Claims of an affair with adult film actress Stormy Daniels. Prosecutors say they are working to coordinate Trump's surrender, which could happen early next week. Trump attorney Joe Tacopina spoke about the indictment.
In my 32 years as a lawyer, both as a prosecutor and defense attorney, I feel like the rule of law died yesterday in this country, and it's not something that I'm happy about.
Trump attorney Joe Tacopina spoke on ABC's Good Morning America today. Emily Wilkins, reporter for Bloomberg Government, talked about the impact of the news for Trump's presidential campaign.
So for Trump's campaign, particularly in terms of the primary and getting the Republican nomination for president, this could actually be a good thing for Trump. You are seeing Republicans across the spectrum rally around him right now, saying that this indictment is politically motivated, that Trump is a victim, should not be facing the
Just
charges
don't look
that
too
he
bad.
did. And so it's really kind of uniting the party once again around Trump in this regard.
Bloomberg's Emily Wilkins. President Joe Biden's administration is pressing regulators to tighten the rules for mid-sized banks. It was the strongest step yet in response to the banking crisis that led to the failure of a pair of regional lenders. The White House says deregulation of the banking industry went too far. Finland has received a green light.
Well, I'm going to take a short here on Australian dollar, Japanese yen.
Live from the Bloomberg Interactive Broker Studios.
Let's see if we can get a breakdown through this level down towards that 100. Might even potentially breach a bit further down. Does look like we're building up off a top formation. So yeah, let's see. AUD, JPY. Take that short. Okay. We'll see how it kind of reacts at this at these levels. We could actually make a push all the way down here, maybe. Yeah, we'll see. Let me just get this out. Shot the sheriff.
Jennifer Barker, CEO of Treasury Services at BNY Mellon, explains.
It feels really great to be first. BNY Mellon was the first stock listed on the New York Stock Exchange. And after 200 plus years of innovation, we were the first bank to launch real-time payment over the first new payment network in the U.S. in over 40 years. Real-time payments is a game changer, designed to allow consumers and businesses to instantly transact all day, every day. Whether you are a corporate, broker-dealer, investment manager, fintech, or bank, it can help optimize your working capital and bring efficiencies to your clients. And we share innovations like these throughout our enterprise. So BNY
Okay, and then what was it? We had Australian dollar, US dollar,
for wealth management firms.
potential short as well.
For investors. It's a win for
Now,
To learn more about real-time payments for your business, visit bnymellon.com and click Contact Us to start the conversation.
Even in a time when almost nothing is easy, one thing has been
it's a difficult one.
Our most important stories of the morning.
Really depends on how that PCE figure comes in, really.
Subscribe to Bloomberg Daybreak Europe Edition today on Apple, Spotify, and everywhere you get your podcasts. Bloomberg has the Fed coverage you're looking for. Today, an exclusive interview with Boston Fed President Susan Collins.
The soaring price stability does remain our imperative.
For all your Fed coverage, keep it tuned to Bloomberg, your global business authority.
See if we can hold one of these levels. Essentially go for a long.
Unfinished business. To finalize post-crisis reforms, consider whether deregulation may have gone too far, and repair the cracks in the
Could potentially see a long here as well on
shocks have revealed.
the dollar.
National Association for Business Economics meetings in years. Just a terrific lineup down there. Someone like Dan Swank, hugely involved with NABE, and of course Michael McKee in attendance. It was an important interview with Susan Collins there, the Treasury Secretary, amid this banking crisis. One of the great joys here is I really don't know who's coming on the show. There's this immense faith that our bookers always get the best people, and there's sort of like a back and forth. But you know, the surprisingly
Keep a close eye on that on gold. Could potentially get something out of that again today.
I never look at the rundown as well. This is what's going on in New York, and this is why Bianco of Chicago is in New York in an hour with Yuri and Tim.
It's right, we're 12 minutes away. 12 minutes.
100 college kids.
Should start to see things start to move a bit more heavily.
Here I was yesterday with four esteemed economists in front of
So do bear that in mind.
Quinnipiac College, this is their baby up in Connecticut. And shout out to all at Quinnipiac College, as Jim Bianco will be in a room full of silence. Why is that? Well, guess what? Elon Musk, meet Jim Bianco. Jim Bianco is what Twitter is all about, and he is definitive.
Okay, okay, okay.
In this
Might get a very nice entry. Let's see how it holds. Came down very nicely to this area of liquidity, right? Just, yeah, on that lower time frame. Bam. So now we just need that structure to follow through here. I mean, we can get rid of this, really. That's our ceiling. So, I mean, we'll see. It could be the case that we come back down and revisit this liquidity area, tap full liquidity, and then start to accumulate again. But, yeah, we'll keep a close eye. That's kind of our local resistance range. Yay! What we got? Okay, it's moving back up a little bit. Shut the sherry.
So let's talk about those money market funds, which reached $5.2 trillion. This is the latest data from ICI that came out on Wednesday. We
I see.
increase at an astronomical pace over the past 2 weeks with $100 billion alone. Over the past 4 weeks, more than $300 billion of inflows, which is taking us back to the pandemic era. Where do you expect this to go? What are you looking for when this hits the breaking point at a time when you're also starting potentially to see the ramifications of the rate hikes in other capacities?
I think once you see the spread between deposit rates and market rates collapse and basically offer the same deal. As long as, like I said, as long as you get 1% or less in the bank and you can get more than 4 in a money market fund, that is going to continue. Also keep in mind, in the post-financial crisis era, 75% of the money that is invested by a money market fund is either in a T-bill or a Fed reverse repo. So in the old days, pre-2009, you say, well, the money's going to money market funds, they buy commercial paper, and they still fund corporate America. Well, they still do that, but not nearly to the degree that they used to. They're funding the government, and they're funding the Fed now.
So translate this into 6 months from now, and what this means in terms of access to credit, either defaults or simply firings and sort of a restraint with respect to business plans. How much more do you see that than perhaps is getting priced in?
Well, I do worry about that. Collectively, the regional banks are $6.8 trillion.
Right, 8 minutes. Very, very, very close.
So collectively, they matter. They fund 80% of commercial real estate, 50% of personal loans, 40% of commercial industrial loans. If they've lost visibility on their deposit base, and they don't know what's driving their depositors, and their depositors are leaving and going somewhere else, they're going to pull back on their lending. A quick point. When we talk about banks, I always like to ask people, what do you think a bank is? And most people would say it's a warehouse where I keep my money and I get an interest rate. Okay, that is the definition of a bank. But for regulators and bankers and everybody else, it's a credit.
At least we're holding on to some nice structure, so.
To expand a business. And if the warehouse of money is going somewhere else, that lending action is going to really change.
We're seeing that in the price of bank stocks. Where are we not seeing this priced in?
Well, the thing about bank stocks is there's two things about them. Are they pricing in potential more defaults or failure? Or what I think they're pricing in is
Okay, 7 minutes.
because they're going to have to raise the rates. And the profitability,
Those things setting up.
that's why the bank stocks have not really recovered. Because there's a worry that in order to get past this problem, they have to start making less money.
Let's bring it back to the Fed economic.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting. So that month-on-month figure could actually come in a little bit higher. If that month-on-month figure comes in higher, it's going to definitely give market mixed emotions. Again, it does push Well, it indicates that inflation's back on the uprise, which again obviously isn't going to be a good news for markets. So yeah, got to keep a close eye on that one. But then again, I mean, markets definitely are very optimistic. So I presume the headline year on year will come down. Which markets are more than likely to take that over month on month. I mean, they have been doing so, especially last month. Because there's already signs that things are on the uprise. I mean, even today, for instance, that core CPI month on month 1.2%, previous 0.8%, and the previous CPI showed the same thing. So month on month CPI headline CPI pushing back up. So and markets still pushed higher. So yeah, the markets are very much optimistic and expecting for the Fed to pause in May. Okay, 5 minutes. See how things kind of go.
They don't want to do it, but they'll be forced into doing it if we have that kind of credit problem that I fear.
TBC deflator here in 6 minutes. You got a view?
Watch the core. The core has been surprising to the upside, and I think that's going to.
Yeah, I see core to the upside.
In Spain, there's other nations having the same trend.
Right, you've seen that all throughout. A lot of countries have been reporting that the core numbers have not been coming down as fast as they hoped.
Very good. Jim Yanko with us here. Very importantly, congratulations on the 5%.
So, I mean, the dollar could absolutely blow the roof off, or it could absolutely blow the roof down. Definitely going to get some volatility today.
Susan Collins, the Boston Fed president, with her Michael McKee at 8:45. Stay with us on radio, on television. Good morning.
Hello and welcome to The Risk Opportunity, a series brought to you by Bloomberg Media Studios and Zurich Insurance Group. I'm Keith Smith, a financial analyst and broadcaster.
So, still making a little bit of profit. Let's get this back up. Okay. This looks okay though, to be fair. I do like it.
Are you looking to add or switch custodians? Are you going independent? Interactive Brokers provides lowest cost trading and turnkey custody solutions for all size firms. Trade globally from a single integrated master account with no ticket charges, no custody fees, no minimums, and no tech platform or reporting fees. Plus, IBKR has no advisory team or prop trading group to compete with you for your clients. Switch to the custody solutions that work for you at ibkr.com/RIA.
145 over 92. 180 over 111. I had a heart attack and cardiac arrest and then a stroke.
What's gold doing? Okay, so gold's holding its ground a little bit. So presume, right, we got a nice range to play around with now. Here's your bottom. Here's your liquidity. Here's your top. And we're just gonna move in between here now. So we've got some structure that we can play around with. We're coming down to this structure here. We're holding currently. Could be the case that we come down and tap for liquidity again. So if anything, that would actually be a lot more healthier to see if we just came back down a little bit more. We've got a bit of liquidity here, not much, but yeah, that 1974 would be nice. So we'll keep a close eye on the structure that gets formed now. This was a nice test. Resistance, broke out, came back, tested as support. So ideally we just want it to hold here. We did come test. It could be the case that we kind of... Oh, there's a little bit of a trend line here, isn't it? So we got one here. So it's going to be interesting. See whether we break or we push up higher. Yeah. Let's see.
That's going to have consequences for years to come. Listen to the Big Take on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen.
Bridgebank helps breakthrough ideas actually break through and remains dedicated to providing game changers and the disruptors, those committed to making the world a better place. Bridgebank has been providing financial solutions to technology and innovation companies from inception to IPO and beyond for over 2 decades through its national network of banking teams and offices. Bridgebank, a division of
Okay.
Alliance Bank, member FDIC. Bridgebank, be bold, venture wisely.
Hey guys, it's me, Isabella Gomez, filling in for Smokey Bear because he's got more to say than just.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Like, if you're outside enjoying a barbecue, don't let a hamburger distract you from fire.
Coming into profit now on the Australian dollar yen.
Because that could start a wildfire. So take wildfire prevention seriously and let's save the world.
Let's see if we can get a nice push down. See how it reacts at this 50. If it starts to stall, we'll get out. I'm gonna be as proactive as possible with that stop loss. So if it does come down to that 50, we'll get it straight to break even. Just because there's still some space for things to push up and above. So again, do need to take that into consideration here. Okay.
NABE preparing for his interview with Susan Collins of the Boston Fed. That's going to be a really important interview today. And out of the data, our Michael McKee. Mike, what do you see as we begin to see the data stagger across the screen?
Okay, here we go.
Staggering is the way it is these days.
There we go.
To all click on the internet at the same time. First numbers we get are personal income and spending. Personal income comes in higher than anticipated, but certainly down from the month of January. It's up 0.3. In January, it was up 0.6. Now, this isn't a complete surprise.
Okay, yeah. So core PCE prices have come down even on a month-on-month basis so far.
So not a major issue there, but it's consumer spending that is a bit of a problem. Rises only 0.2% after a 1.8% gain in January. I've heard from credit card companies recently that they see spending momentum dropping, and so that's something that we need to keep an eye on.
There we go. We push right back up. Let's get it, baby. Cashing in. You're cashing in. Okay. Let me see how things are looking on the lower time frame here. All right, we're going to move it to break even, guys. It's not too bad. Okay.
Michael McKee, as he takes a pause to further digest the voluminous data coming out. We're going to digest the data check, which clearly shows a lower rate regime. That 2-year yield up near 4.16 earlier, now 4.0.
All right, we're going to get out here. It's not making that push, is it? Okay.
Up 32 points on the Nasdaq, 13,119. Standard & Poor's up 16
All right.
points. Michael, I want you to, before we get to Matt Lazzetti here,
How's things looking over here? Woo! That's your gold absolutely flying through. It's gone without us, guys. It's gone without us, unfortunately. Okay, what's happening with the crypto side of things? Okay, we're moving back up. Okay, FTM is nicely treating us right now. Okay, 220%. We cannot complain about that, can we? Let's end this month on a high note. Okay, I'm going to move that stop loss on FTM to break even. Okay, so now we're risk free on that one. The algo trade that we're in, okay, that is a medium term trade, so we will continue to hold. Okay.
We had a shocking call long ago and far away of economic slowdown, but was emphasizing it would be out there somewhere where so many others were looking for immediate economic slowdown. We recalibrate this morning with Matt Rossetti. I guess we see disinflation out there. Can you establish?
Okay, amazing.
Disinflationary vectors.
Let's have a little look. What's happening?
Yeah, I think we need to put the disinflation into context. It's still like 0.3% core PCE, month-on-month print, still well above.
Yeah, so essentially PC prices on a core basis, month-on-month, year-on-year have all come down, which is obviously a good news for risk-on assets, hence why we're getting a nice push up, and we're getting that kind of dip on that dollar. Yeah. Personal income. I mean, it's good news, really.
Does that story start to get
Yeah.
more? In other words, not exactly supportive of this robust. We can make.
So we should see a nice push from in price for risk on assets. We should get a nice push. I mean, gold's gone for it. I mean, we get Chicago PMI at 245. Apart from that, that is really about it. We get some Michigan figures, and that's it for the month, guys. That really is it. So I mean, let's see what we can get. I'm hoping we can get a very nice push up. See whether we can end this on a very nice trade.
Yeah, I think, inflation's obviously well above their objective. The way that Chair Powell has been talking about the labor market is it's either extremely tight or tight to an unhealthy degree. And so there's no big difference in the retention and the goal mandate at this point. I think the real issue comes when that tension arises.
We've just gone straight up. See a nice pickup in volume, which is exactly what we want to see. We're looking pretty sweet.
We expect that they cut rates in January, but a lot of it depends on how this credit shock plays out. Certainly it could mean that the recession's earlier, labor market weakens earlier, and the Fed has to cut earlier.
Susan Collins will be with us in 10 minutes with Michael McKee. She's absolutely definitive academics, as are you from UCLA.
I mean, gold went for it. Looks like crude's going for it. Everything's good news. I mean, those figures are very good news. And again, as mentioned, the market will take that and run with it. We'll take it and run. Those that are just joining us, welcome. We have just received PCE prices and personal spending, all coming in very nice. Okay, so hence why we're getting a nice pullback in the dollar index. Okay, I mean, yeah, that's a decent move. So we could actually be breaking. That's your trend line to keep a close eye on. If we start breaching through that, we can expect these, the risk on markets to really start to push. Very nice reaction from buyers on Bitcoin. Very nice reaction from buyers on gold. So let's see. We are cashing in right now Are you selling gold? No, I'm not selling gold, Molly. I was actually looking to get in long. I was wanting it to actually come down a little bit lower, and then obviously it kind of just blew the roof off on the release of that data. Now, yeah, again, as mentioned, as I mentioned on these streams, not interested in catching tops and bottoms. So this is your next area for resistance. So I mean, it could come here, it could come back down, but what I'm looking for is that that confirmation when it comes back up and creates a lower high to give me that indication. Okay, we got a switch up in dynamic and gives me a better entry. So comes up here, comes back down, and then holds, creates that lower high. That's my entry. That's the entry that I want to get in to go short. So yeah, at the moment we missed it. Unfortunately, it's pushing up nicely higher. So yeah, I mean we cashed in on a long position this morning on gold. So yeah, I mean it's gone without us. It's gone without us. There's not much we can do about it. So yeah. We cashed in on a very, I mean, it was very, very brief, short position there on Australian dollar, Japanese yen. It's stalling right here. So, yeah, it's still got some space to go to the upside. So, if it's not going to break at its first support zone, get out. It's an indication that okay, could be pushing right back up. The other ones that we were looking at is pound, New Zealand dollar. Not really doing much. Some nice volume. We were looking to potentially get in on a long position up to this zone here, 1.982. It's holding. It's not too bad. So I mean, there could actually be a potential long position here to go up. Literally just set that stop right there. Again, just need to hopefully hold on to. Let me go back on the 1 minute so you can see a bit of structure better. Hold on to this area here. If I don't see that right price action, then I'm not taking. We can play it straight up to there. Those that are joining us, welcome. Feel free to touch base with us in that chat section. I'm more than happy to go over any TA, FX, commodities, equities, stocks, crypto. We'll take a look. Okay, now we're getting a little bit of a better price action here. It's looking a little bit more promising. Let me have a continue having a little look. By the way, guys, thank you for the likes and thank you for the follows. Very much appreciated. Yeah, I mean, this is going very, very nicely. Again, as mentioned, we are break even on FTM currently. 234% so far. So yeah, let's see where we can go with it. I mean, we got a little bit of liquidity just before that top, so we got that level to break through. We've still got this level to break through, and then this is where you kind of have a little bit more of a concentration of liquidity. So it really does depend on how much this pushes up, because if we really start to ramp up, which I mean that volume is looking pretty sweet. If we start breaking through here, pushing towards, well, ideally past 28,400, then I mean we could really start to ramp up. We broke out of that trend line, found support at its first area of support, got a little bit of liquidity as well as previous structure, and we rebounded it, held. So the sellers weren't looking too strong, and now we've rebounded straight back into structure currently. So things are looking good. Obviously, that data that we just got out is good for risk on assets. It's exactly kind of what markets want to see. I mean, the data, I mean, it's still not ideal. So the Fed, it's going in the right direction. But I mean, it's still showing signs in terms of, okay, there's still more work to be done here. So yeah, but again, as mentioned, the markets are going to take anything optimistic, any good data, really well. So yeah, we should see a nice reaction and follow through. Now clearly we've got 45 minutes left until the opening bell for the New York session. So yeah, let's see how things kind of play out. Let's see. Things could very much also turn around, but we're looking good so far. We are looking good. Sellers coming in on gold. Woo. That's a nice rejig of liquidity right there. Nice rejig.
Finland has highly capable forces, advanced capabilities, and strong democratic institutions.
NATO's Jens Stoltenberg says he is also looking forward to vote next week as a full member of the NATO family as soon as possible. Live from the Bloomberg Interactive Broker Studios, this is Global News, 24 hours a day, powered by more than 2,700 journalists and analysts.
Thank you for the follows, guys. Yeah. Find a little bit of support here on that dollar. Still looking weak. Still looking weak. See if we can hold here and start to come down. That would be very, very nice. Bitcoin just also needs to hold its structure and start making a move. But that is some very, very nice volume. Very little sell side coming in on that. And straight back into structure. So far, so good. So far, so good. We just need to breach through this area here. Once we breach through this area, I mean, the bulls are really going to start to pick up from that point onwards. But yeah, those that are just joining us for the first time, okay, firstly, welcome. Feel free to message us in the chat with any TA that you want us to go over. But just as a quick update in terms of Bitcoin structure, we are moving within a range. You got your top, you got your bottom, and yeah, we got this trend line. I mean, we breached it. We just found support at this structure here, and we've rebounded back up again, guys. As mentioned, that's kind of the reason why we held the longs, was because the expectation of PCE. PCE was expected to come down. The most recent CPI reading came down as well. So the only thing that was kind of the concern was month on month and core month on month, which showed some signs of revival on the CPI that we just got. The EU core CPI went up by 1.2% compared to previous at 0.8, if I'm not mistaken. So again, showing signs of revival, and that's the implication. But again, I mean, all the data really that came out is looking good. The only thing that there's an argument for is personal income. Went up by 0.3. It did come down from previous, but I mean, any increase is, you cannot argue that. I mean, it's a problem, but it has come down from previous, which is a good sign. Personal spending has come down as well. Again, good indication. And we got GDP, so GDP as well. Let me just touch on, just so I don't butcher it. Where is it? GDP. Yeah, so GDP came down 2.6 quarter on quarter from 3.2. GDP price index quarter on quarter 3.9 compared to 4.4. So again, kind of pushing towards a slowdown. Again, pushing towards that narrative of okay, maybe we will see a recession. But I mean, those that followed the news, there's about 101 terms: shallow recession or hard landing, and it's all over the place. But yeah, we've got a decline in GDP again, pushing towards potential recession, with the personal spending also decreasing. Okay, so they go hand in hand.
And then the PCE indicator, which of course is the Fed's favorite, 3/10 for the headline, 3/10 for the core. What does this tell you about the state of the economy and where the Fed is in its inflation fight?
So let me start by saying just absolutely delighted to be here with you. Look forward to our conversation.
Let's have a little listen to this.
To dig deeply into the numbers yet, and sometimes the details actually are important in terms of understanding the story. But starting with the PCE inflation, that's about what was expected, and so that is some positive news. At the same time, let me say two things about that. One is that the monthly data are really noisy. We've seen that, and so 1 month of move in a kind of more helpful direction is not something that really indicates a sustained change. And the other thing I'll say is that if you recognizing the elevated numbers we saw in December and January, this a bit lower number that we expected just means that the 3-month average is about what the 12-month average is. And so that's not a lot of progress. We still do have more work to do and more to see to know that inflation is really on a sustained downward path.
Well, you're on record as saying you favor at least one more move by the Fed. Does this sort of lock it in for May, that you do it because inflation is still at a high level and you don't pause for a month to see how things are going?
Well, actually, what I think I'm on record as saying is that I'm highly data dependent. And so my assessment...
I think all of you are highly data dependent.
With the summary of economic projections did suggest an additional...
Yeah, so markets are going to have a little bit of cooling off. Okay, so that's your candle on... that's your reactionary candle on the release of that news. And now there's kind of a little bit of a pause between that release and the actually open to the market. So we are about 40 minutes ahead of the opening bell. So yeah, there's going to be a little bit of movement and then the volume will come in.
What I would say is obviously there's a range of views about these things. I mean, look, inflation is just really too high. When we talk about price stability, to me what that means is a level of low, stable inflation. We're not thinking about inflation. Well, everybody is thinking about inflation, and that really does mean we have more work to do. And what history has told us is that we need to have conditions sufficiently tight. And then
yeah, your dollar's looking very, very weak. Very, very weak.
In a sustainable way, gotten inflation going back to what the target is.
Well, spending was down, not down, but decelerated significantly during the month of February, according to this report. Do you worry about going too far and tipping the country into recession? That's the standard view of what the Fed does.
It is absolutely a balance, and I think it's important to recognize that there are uncertainties, there are risks, and in particular, we do need to balance the risk that we don't do enough, that we're not sustained, don't hold the course, and don't bring inflation down. And again, as I mentioned before, inflation is really costly to businesses and households, and so that's important. At the same time, you're absolutely right. I do monitor the data, looking at when we might see the economy turning, and some of the slower data I think is helpful in that context. That's what we would hope to see. At the same time, early days yet in terms of assessing whether we really have gone as far as we need to go.
Well, in terms of assessing, have you got any assessment of what impact recent banking issues will have on the economy? There's a theory out there banks are going to tighten credit and do some of your work for you, and that could also send us into recession.
That is certainly an important factor. There's absolutely a theory out there, and we could see some of that. My expectation is that we're likely to see at least some, but we'll have to continue
Gold
to
is
really monitor the data.
cancelling out all of those gains that I just made. Very, very strong reaction from breaching that top there. Very, very strong.
That I might think we would need to do more work, and the banking stresses and what I think is at least the possible response of banks in terms of their own liquidity needs has influenced that. And so it's certainly one of the important things to factor. One of the things I do want to just emphasize is I can...
Welcome, guys. By the way, those are just joining us. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
We can bring inflation down without a significant...
Those that trade crypto, we are in a long here. We are in a long on Matic as well. Okay. Yeah, let's see how things going to play out. FTM is nicely in profit. We've just got to give it a little bit of breathing time ahead of this New York Open. Then we'll kind of gauge as to how things are playing out. Yeah, I mean, we're expecting some volatility, some decent volatility. Just because of being the final day of the week, the final day of the month, the final day of the quarter. And we just got some very good news from PCE, from the kind of spending. Looks good. Does look good.
Continue to strengthen what I see as already a sound and resilient banking system.
What are banks in your district telling you about their situation?
So, of course, we monitor very closely, and we are in close contact with the banks throughout the first district.
And this dollar just looks. We've got a nice reaction from this area here, from this order block here. See how it kind of got that structure. Got a nice reaction, but where the buyers need that follow through, we're not getting that. So, I mean, if this starts to push back towards that trend line again, then probably going to make a decent push down. This is looking very, very weak right now. So, yeah, we could see a good push from crypto. That's definitely on the cards, without a doubt. It's gone straight back into structure as well. So, let's see. So far, so good. We will continue to hold. In terms of your FX pairs, I mean, there really isn't much. Yeah, this morning was a bit nicer. But even then, it was more commodities that were nicer to trade this morning. It wasn't a great deal. Let me have a little look at some of these equities, see if they're continuing to make that push up higher. Because they have been on an absolute rampage lately. Nah, they're looking like they're turning around a little bit here, aren't they?
Sectors of the economy respond to the tightening that is already factoring through the system.
Well, I guess we'll check back with you as the fall. One last question, since I know the Red Sox lost yesterday, and you're on record as saying that the season...
But yeah, guys, those that are tuning in, feel free to message us in the chat. Any TA that you want us to go over, let's go through it. See whether we can cash anything. We'll keep an eye on these FX pairs, really. At the moment, things are kind of just setting up. They're not moving perfectly. This is, I mean, we got a very quick short on AUD JPY. The reason why we kind of pulled the plug early was because there's still room for things to push up. So there's still a good chance. It just started to stall very quickly, so you could actually see a potential long position. Set your stop just here, play it to the top. Yeah, I literally just play it all the way to the top of the structure just here. It's looking promising.
Opportunity, wherever you get your podcasts now.
To start your day in just 15 minutes.
More hints the Fed is not done raising interest rates.
The big banks may have to pay the price for recent failures. Wake up with Bloomberg Daybreak, U.S. edition.
The U.S. questions China's message to Russia.
Big changes in baseball. The pitch clock is in. Available now on your podcast feed. Each weekday morning at 6 a.m. Eastern. Some of the smaller banks are going to face more regulatory scrutiny.
It's got some decent buy side. That was a very nice buy side candle.
Expect when you're expecting a teenager learning the lingo.
GOAT, G-O-A-T, acronym, stands for greatest of all time, as in spaghetti sandwiches for dinner. They're my fave. Dad, you're the GOAT.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
A city is parks, it is streets, it is schools. Above all, it is the people that live there and the people that work there. Bogota.
Let's see what we can get.
With their parks. They were dark, they were unsafe. So we worked with the mayor to install LED lighting in almost every single park. When you have good parks, your city is vibrant and everybody gets to enjoy it.
Bloomberg dedicates almost all of its profits to transforming lives around the world. See how at bloomberg.com/face-the-data.
What is dedication?
The thing that drives me every day as a dad is Dariana. We call him Day for short. Every day he's hungry for something, whether it's attention, affection, knowledge, and there's this huge responsibility in making sure that when he's no longer under my wing, that he's a good person. I think the advice I would give is you don't need to know.
We can get rid of that.
The craziest thing was
We know where we're going to.
your dad knew everything. So as a dad, you felt like you had to know everything. You had to get everything right. It's okay to make mistakes. As long as it's coming from love, then, you know, it kind of starts to work itself out. I want him to be able to sit back one day and go, we worked together, we did a good job.
That's dedication. Find out more at fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing.
So we could very much get, I mean, we've had a little bit of price action here, but we could see that continue and then actually making that move. So it's looking promising though. Some very, very nice volume. It's holding those moving averages. Things are looking good. But again, as mentioned, we could hit resistance, come back down, maybe test this area here, support, build up some more, and then go for that actual break. But yeah, things are looking good. Just need that buy side volume to continue to come in, pick up in momentum for that break of that structure.
That was a clear message from Chair Powell last week that the economic data still matters.
I think the Fed can continue to have the narrative of hiking.
They're really ready to continue to push short rates higher until the household and business pain is felt.
We have this huge disconnect between where the dots are and where the market is.
People are expecting the same sort of performance we saw post-COVID. I think the conditions are just not as supportive for that.
Bloomberg Surveillance with Tom Keene and Paul Sweet on Bloomberg Radio.
Good Friday morning from the Bloomberg Interactive Broker Studio in New York City to our worldwide.
It's looking good. Looking good. Alright, 27 minutes and we got that opening bell. Got a little bit of a very short term trend line forming just here. A little bit like that. If we really breach through this low here, then we're coming right down.
Bloomberg's Michael McKee. He's down in Washington, D.C. But right now, let's get some color on the pre-market trading with Bloomberg Equities reporter, Jess Benton. Jess, what are you looking at?
Well, happy end to the first quarter,
Exactly.
Paul. It's been quite the quarter. I mean, if you're looking at the NASDAQ 100, up about 19% this quarter. So on pace for its best gain since the mid-2020. Also, S&P 500 up more than 5% this quarter, and the Dow's down close to 1%. So obviously that has to do with a lot of, we were talking about the market cap weightings for the bigger indexes versus obviously the price weighting for the Dow and the components, right, within all of them. But for
This is looking good.
individual movers, I'm going to start off with
We're looking good.
the former president Donald Trump. So Digital World Acquisition, that's ticker symbol DWAC, surging about 10% pre-market after what we were talking about after the closing bell yesterday when he became the first former president to be indicted on charges related to that hush money payments made before his 2016 campaign for president. You're looking at other stocks that are linked to that Rumble, ticker symbol RUM. That's the Peter Thiel-backed conservative video network that's surging about 12% after reporting some of those results. Another big mover today, though, looking at satellite launch provider Virgin Orbit, the ticker symbol for that VORB. Those shares shedding more than 40%. So this would be potentially its biggest percentage drop since it did have its IPO in the summer of 2021. So what happened with that stock? It did announce that it would cease operations indefinitely after it did fail to secure funding. And the company said it would eliminate about 90% of its workforce. So that is a big decliner this morning. Another company I'm keeping a close eye on, Nikola, ticker symbol NKLA, this electric truck maker, declining about 9%. It did announce plans to raise about $100 million through a secondary stock offering or a private sale of a stock if needed. It priced around a little more than $1 a piece, and that would actually represent a 20% discount to its last close. And another one I'm keeping a close eye on, BlackBerry, ticker symbol BB. It is still around, so those shares falling about 3%. So what happened was it did post fourth quarter revenue that did fall short of estimates, and now analysts are flagging the impact of some of these larger government deals with slipping, because that has been, as you know, Paul, a big cornerstone to help.
There we go. I'm going to start ramping up.
They need more convincing as far as growth and metrics and the recovering in that particular area. And then I'll end with some of these regional bank stocks. If you're looking at
Crude is definitely making that push. Jesus.
Showing a decline last week, so it does potentially a sign there that liquidity issues may be under control. Obviously, we have seen this difficult month for the sector, so you are seeing regional banks up.
It is coming up to that trend line again, so it could find some resistance there. If not, you could actually see it push all the way up to about, max 27 between 77 and 76.6. It does still need to get through this previous structure here. If so, then we got the trend line. If it fails at the trend line, if it breaks through the trend line, then yeah, you could actually see a $77. Seeing a very, very nice rebound, that's for sure. There is quite a lot of price action at the current price, so.
We're going to get an update. I'm sure you've been studying this indictment of a former president. This is a criminal indictment, and I think we go to Tuesday is the guesstimate right now. Studying next Tuesday is Emily Wilkins of Bloomberg Government and Briefs this morning. Emily, what will you think about over the weekend to help you
Come on, let's go.
presumed arraignment on Tuesday?
Well, I think to a certain extent, we have to be careful about getting too far beyond the facts at this point. We don't know what the charges are. We probably won't know those until Tuesday when the arraignment happens. That's going to give us a lot more detail about what Alvin Bragg has found, what evidence was presented to the grand jury that led them to decide for this indictment. At this point, I'm not really shocked with anything I'm seeing from Republicans. They kind of gave us the preview of this a week and a half ago when we first heard an indictment would come down. They're basically just putting the entire blame on a Manhattan DA.
Thank you for the likes.
This is a
Yeah, it's just brewing time now. Just got to be a little bit patient. Things are moving nicely in our direction currently. We're 21 minutes away from that opening bell, so should hopefully see things start to really ramp up, make that push much higher. Um, yeah, looking good, looking good.
Certainly don't want to give the investigation any additional fire or momentum. At the same point, if you are running against Trump for the presidential nomination, it is your job to make the case to Republicans about why you are the better nominee. And the fact that he is indicted and could potentially be indicted further for
That's
cases
it.
in Georgia and the U.S., I mean, that could be an argument that holds some sway. And so I think there are, I know we're all sick of the word unprecedented, but there are a lot of things that are yet to play out.
Right where I wanted to go. Paul, absolutely unprecedented. I'm hearing that from both sides, from experts, wonderful set of experts this morning. Unprecedented is the true word.
Absolutely. And Emily, you raised the issue of this is not his only legal challenge. Obviously, from the election down in Georgia to the January 6th federal issue, is there an expectation on timing on either of those challenges?
I've heard that there is an expectation that within the next couple months we might see something out of Georgia that is building up steam. Of course, in D.C., you've got sort of the special investigator Jack Smith looking into the documents in Mar-a-Lago and whether Trump purposely tried to keep some of those documents from going to the National Archives and what, if any, risk that wound up setting out there. I mean, let's be honest, these things do take time. I mean, this indictment was something that has been in the works for a while, and it's just an indictment. Now we actually need to go through the entire court process, and legal experts that I've spoken to really do believe that Trump and his lawyers will do everything to delay this. And then, of course, it becomes a question, how does this wind up impacting the 2024 calendar? Is Trump going to be able to say, well, look, I can't appear these dates because I'm campaigning for president? I think, again, just a lot of really interesting wrinkles that could emerge here now that the indictment is out there.
Very quickly, Emily, this is a state, New York State kind of feel. There's a Georgia kind of feel. Does an expert like you discern between federal litigation and state-type litigation?
I mean, to a certain extent, you have to kind of be cognizant. I think it's less of federal versus state and more of the degree of the crime. One thing that a lot of folks will point out here in New York is that, this is a misdemeanor that got elevated to a felony. And there's some questions about whether or not the charge that this is basically bad bookkeeping by Trump's team and then tying that into campaign finance, if that's really going to wind up holding a lot of water. Say compared to something like meddling in the election, keeping classified documents and purposely taking them out of the White House, things like that might wind up holding a little bit more weight with the American public when they start thinking about these charges and what they mean and how it might influence their vote next November.
Emily Wilkins, thank you so much. Bloomberg Government. Futures advance up 14, Dow futures up 147. The VIX now under 19, 18.93. With our news in New York City, here's Michael Barr.
Tom Paul, thank you very much. Manhattan grand jury has indicted former President Trump. Has been talking all morning on criminal charges, making him the first current or former president to be indicted. Trump could surrender as early as next Tuesday to the Manhattan DA's office investigating the $130,000 hush money payment made to adult film actress Stormy Daniels in the closing days of the 2016 campaign. Trump attorney Joe Tacopina says authorities won't allow the arraignment to become a circus as much as humanly possible.
I've come back down to that trend line on gold.
Publicity they count from this day. The president will not be put in handcuffs. As far as the mugshot's concerned, per book, I mean, as I said, I'm sure they'll try to make sure they get some, joy out of this by parading him.
Attorney Joe Tacopina spoke to ABC. The fallout continues from Russia's detainment of an American journalist. Secretary of State Antony Blinken confirming his office is in touch with Wall Street Journal, where American journalist Evan Gershkovich is employed. Russian authorities detained Gershkovich, accusing him of spying. White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre called the espionage charges ridiculous.
We condemn the detention detention of Mr. Gershkovich in the strongest terms. We also condemn the Russian government's continued targeting and repression of journalists.
State Department officials are now urging U.S. citizens residing or traveling in Russia to depart immediately, citing numerous safety risks. President Joe Biden will visit a Mississippi town today ravaged by a deadly tornado. Last week's twister destroyed 300 homes and businesses in Rollingport and nearby Silver City, leaving mounds of lumber, brick, and twisted metal. Live from the Bloomberg Interactive Broker Studios, this is Global News, 24 hours a day, powered by more than 2,700 journalists and analysts in over 120 countries. I'm Michael Barr, and this is Bloomberg. Tom Pohl.
The best part of opening day, when you lose like the Red Sox or you lose like the Tigers, is there's a tradition the next day you're off.
Yeah, you know what? In all
that's the
years,
joy of today.
I never understood, and you're right. We're in that same boat. We'll play the opener, and then we have the next day off, and we need that, guys.
We don't need it for weather.
All right, 15 minutes out. 15 minutes out.
Delay the opening day one day. I get that. This is just to heal the wounds of losing. I watched Baltimore and Boston yesterday. It was chewing glass. I mean, it's painful.
But I mean, at least you guys gave a run of it. It was 10-9. But
we came back nice. The highlight of the Red Sox opening day was Mr. Turner of the Dodgers sitting rinkside for the Bruins last night. That's the only good news I got. What did we learn about the new rules yesterday?
It's going to speed up the game.
Oh, yeah.
I love the pitch clock.
Yep.
You can't beat it. 15 seconds if there are no runners on base, 20 seconds if there are runners on base.
I think the biggest challenge is for the broadcasters, Tom. I mean, they're in the midst of telling their stories that they've been telling for years, and then boom, you can hear the ball hit the mitt. You got to call ball a strike.
I think you're right. It's a huge. Jason Stark was brilliant in The Athletic, writing it up. I had no idea the shift change.
That's good
the
too.
stupid shift going away.
Yep.
Looks like this is coming down a little bit. This is the area that we want it to stick to, right?
I love it. There are a lot of changes. At first, it took me a while to get used to the big bases, but
Crude. Okay, things are slightly starting to structure.
Anyways, opening day, it is a wonderful thing, even if you're a Red Sox fan. Futures up 15. Stay with us. Paul Sweeney and Tom. This is Bloomberg.
Hi, I'm Dan.
Markets, headlines, and breaking news 24 hours a day at Bloomberg.com. On Bloomberg
This does look good. This structure looks really, really good.
Bloomberg Business Flash.
And it's 9:16 on Wall Street. I'm Karen Moscow. This
Still looking weak.
Interactive Brokers Bond Marketplace. Access their vast selection of over 1 million global fixed income securities with no markups or
See how it kind of holds this next area of resistance.
IBKR.com/bonds. Well, U.S. stock index futures are hedging higher after a key measure of U.S. inflation stepped down last month by more than expected and consumer spending stabilized. We check the markets all day long here on Bloomberg. The S&P futures are up 0.33% or 14 points. Dow futures up 0.4% or 133 points. The Nasdaq futures up 0.2% or 31 points. The DAX in Germany is up 0.5%. 10-year Treasury up 5/32, yield 3.52%, and the yield on the 2-year 4.12%. NYMEX crude oil is up 0.7% or 49 cents at $74.89 a barrel. COMEX gold little change at $19.97.10 an ounce. The euro 1.0882 against the dollar. British pound 1.2384. The yen 133.07. And Bitcoin's up 0.33%. It's at around $28,300. And that's
Yes, it is. Let's see if we can get that huge push. FTM 260%. See how far we can get it. I mean, we're at break even, so at least that one's risk free.
They don't give a damn about me. I just sort of show up. Sure. Someone comes up, what's Karen Moscow like?
Oh, I know. Sure.
And that's what they want to know. They listen on the radio and across the nation. Good morning. They're like, what's Karen Moscow really like? And I'm like,
That's not what they're asking.
if you want to go there, think, how does she do that data check? And I said, it's a lot of skill, actually. Which it is.
Sure. Absolutely.
Which it is.
Starting to stall.
Thank you, Karen. We'll move forward. We move forward with Michael McKee. He's in charge of all of our economic coverage. That important interview with Susan Collins of moments ago. Mike, I got to look at the data, and I got to look forward to 10 and link this into President Collins of the Boston Fed. I've got 1 year inflation guesstimates by the public, 3.8%. I've got out 5 to 10 years inflation guesstimates, 2.8%, a lower number.
280, 280. Let's get it. Let's go.
Pretty firm in thinking that right now inflation expectations are anchored. It's just that it's going to be lumpy throughout the process of bringing down inflation. But if you look at the numbers from the New York Fed and from the University of Michigan, Americans think that inflation is actually going to start falling. So that tells you that it's anchored at the moment.
Susan Collins said she's data. No shock there. That's not breaking news.
All right, we're 10 minutes out.
Into the May 3rd meeting.
Yeah, it's like these Fed people are hanging out in the slums, going on the corner, going data. I need some data. They're looking at the jobs numbers, of course, because that's going to be the thing that drives whether or not people are still looking for pay raises.
Yeah, and Michael, you know.
I was going to say, and they're looking at the inflation numbers, CPI.
Let's get it.
Right. You know, experts like you, Michael, tell me I need to focus on this thing called the PCE core deflator.
Come on, 300%.
On a year-to-year basis, came in a little bit below expectations, and it came in below last month's, even the revised last month. So if I'm the Fed, I'm like, I'm doing my job here. I'm patting myself on the back. But does that mean, what does that mean for them in terms of moving rates over the next several meetings, do you think?
Well, they pretty much said they're going to do one more. Okay. And they can, it's at the margins. So it's not going to be a big deal that they do it. It will be in the days ahead of the Fed meeting. We'll all be talking about it. But they'll get to their...
See if we can get to at least 0.475 would be nice. Still got plenty of room. This is picking up very nicely.
So that will be the narrative story going forward once we get past May. Now, if there were some sort of collapse in the economy, obviously the story would change. But if we're still seeing the same kind of numbers that we're seeing now, slow progress on inflation and the economy slowing but not crashing, then we move into that hold, higher for longer area and debate whether if they reverse that.
And just going to FED Go, that gives you everything you need to know about the Federal Reserve, and it tells me the
Isn't
next.
that going to be? Are we going to rename that McKee-Go?
McKee-Go, that's fine.
All right, I'm gonna take my profit on FTM. I'll take that 300%. I'm very happy with that, indeed.
We talk about how the data are backward-looking, and they are. So obviously, unless there's some major change in the jobs or CPI numbers from what people are anticipating, I'm looking at more private sector data that is more timely.
Very, very nice.
The credit card industry is seeing a slowdown in spending, and that was reflected in the data today. And that was sort of being predicted by Barclays and Bank of America and Visa, all the credit card people over the past 6 months. We can look at the rent numbers, which are telling us that rents have fallen but have stabilized again. So what does that mean for the economy going forward? Those are the kind of things that I think the Fed is going to rely more on because they know that the other data is in the rearview mirror.
We're now skewy with Michael McKee, as we can always do. What'd you learn from Catherine Mann of Brandeis, of Citigroup, of the Bank of England? Did you wander by for that discussion, Michael?
Hell yeah, Charles. Yeah, hell yeah.
Like, does she wear like a brooch that's a hawk, or
She's not a Madeleine Albright.
Cash in that profit, my man. Let's see what we can get elsewhere. Still got 2 positions open. Now, those that are in the algo trade, we're not messing with that. That's kind of like as mentioned on the write out. Okay, it's a medium term position, right? We're planning for the much larger move. So we gotta leave it and let it have that brewing time. Okay, that time to really accumulate and go for the breakout. The time for the breakout is very, very, very close. Very close. So Yeah, you don't. It's not. You're not waiting for ages, but it might take a week or so. So just yeah, hold on to it because it's gonna be worthwhile. It looks good. Now let's see what Matic can do for us. It's come to that 0.5. I came down to the 618. Actually saw a rebound. We just need that buy side to really push up higher. But I mean, it has a very good tendency to really push hard. So, yeah, let's see if Bitcoin can make that push to the top of that range. Matic is gonna go. Patience pays off. That data is really good data as well. So I mean, we're 5 minutes away. Let's see how the markets react. This is a nice push so far. So we'll see how this reacts. If we start breaking through this trend line, you bet crypto's gonna start to really go heavy. Cash the profit. Today's been fantastic. All we need is for Matic to play in our favor. Cash that up. Close the month on a high note. And yeah, just enjoy the winnings from this month. This month has been insane. And the month report will be sent out later on today. After kind of the trades are closed, after this session's done, I won't be trading. I won't be coming doing a live trading session for that New York close. Staying away from that, just trading this, and then yeah, just let things kind of restructure, resettle, for the new month. Now, I have mentioned this a few times on these streams. Your first week and your last week of the month are normally kind of more difficult to trade because the market's kind of restructuring, resetting. The middle weeks are the best weeks to trade. That is where things are moving nicely. The structure is nice. The volatility is nice. So they're really good to trade. There's a lot of opportunities. It's the first and last weeks that are a bit more difficult. The first week more so than the last week. The last week is that a bit of lack of opportunities. That's where that's what makes it difficult for traders, is because traders have a tendency to not be patient, and yeah, you don't really get those opportunities in the first and last week really, and it doesn't move as nice. It's very short movements. A lot of the time they're very that if they break out structure, they're not breaking heavily. They're very short kind of runs, and yeah, they tend to just range. It's kind of the time where they accumulate and distribute ahead of the consecutive weeks. But yeah, next month is going to be a very big month. Obviously, we get the US data coming out, US labor market data coming out next week. Okay, so we kind of, we get US labor market data coming out next week, but it's kind of a build-up week because CPI is the following week on the 12th, on the Wednesday. So markets are very much going to start to set up for that labor market data. Unless it comes down significantly, it's just the same story every single non-farm payrolls data. It's still the same thing. Labor market is strong. So I don't think markets are going to really put too much emphasis. Now, if an unexpected figure comes out and it's much lower, then of course markets are going to move heavy because the narrative has been a strong labor market. So if we start to see significant declines in the labor market strength, then yeah, of course that the market is going to move heavily to the upside on it. But yeah, it's CPI essentially. CPI is your big one that the markets will look to. and we get that literally in the second week of next month. Hi, what do you think is going to happen with BTC? So today, I'm expecting things to push up higher, then maybe consolidate for next week, maybe actually pull back and reset. And then second week it's CPI. So yeah, who knows if that CPI figure stays relatively unchanged. Sorry. Then we should start to actually see things kind of come down, because it's not good news, because once we're in next month, we've only got one more month or 4 weeks until we get the next interest rate decision. So yeah, if that CPI figure doesn't change significantly, I mean the CPI figure that we just got from Europe, I mean month on month core, 1.2% compared to 0.8, so you're already starting to see prices go back up, which is not good. Yeah, the outlook is not great at all. But ultimately, the outlook that I have on Bitcoin is that the bubble's going to burst, and prices are going to crash. Yeah, but again, I mean, can definitely be wrong. If CPI comes down majorly, essentially the Fed actually pours in, non-farm payrolls comes down significantly. If those signs start to come in, then I mean, yeah, we can break through here. We can push all the way up to 34. But is that realistic with the economic outlook? Not really. So yeah, the way that I'm looking at this is a bear market rally that's been going on for a long time. Well, since the start of the year, it's just built on optimism. Mainly because the Fed isn't really being cutthroat with its messaging, and inflation has declined, and the market is taken very well to that, and that's what we're getting off the back end. But yeah, like we're still very far away from 2%, where the Fed wants to bring inflation back to, and the market is pricing in a Fed pause, a Fed rate cut this year, and the Fed couldn't be any further away from both of those. So yeah, it's a recipe for disaster really, if those CPI and that data coming out next month doesn't push that narrative for a Fed pause and a Fed rate cut. And yeah, you can expect a huge decline. I mean, even if we get continuation in the unraveling of these banks, it's again not good news for risk-on assets, not at all.
Look at a consensus, and the consensus is turned on its head. You guys are legendary within the rigor of your 4 or 5 star system and all that. Of just, am I right? Ignoring consensus. What does Sam Stovall do at any given time with consensus?
Are we getting movement? Ooh. Okay, here we go.
So, Stam, you mentioned some of those returns. I mean, just we're about to close out the first quarter. I mean, year to date, the S&P's up, about 5%, Nasdaq's up about 15%.
Yeah, I feel you, Charles. I feel you. If you're listening to this, anyway. Yeah. What are your next predictions for gold? Gold, kind of shorter term projections. I mean, we're building up on very nice structure here. I mean, let me take all the TA off because otherwise it's going to be a bit confusing for you. But as you can see, I mean, we're holding on to nice structure. We're actually now kind of very, very nicely, positively structuring up here for a push towards kind of this area here where we got a lot more liquidity, as you can see here from the TA. We're holding on to that trend line, which is perfect. This is... The thing is, so in terms of short term, I think we're just going to maybe just continue to range a little bit. But kind of, let's say the next month, 2-3 horizon, this is going to push much higher. I've got a potential top pushing towards 2070. Yeah, long term, very bullish just because I am expecting things to melt down in the markets. So investors are definitely going to be looking for that safe haven. Your silver and your gold and cash are the three that you want to be in. Because, yeah, things are going to turn around. You're going to be cash intensive, ready to deploy it on very cheap stocks and crypto. And hedge off that risk. Obviously, if everything's falling down, again, as mentioned, investors are going to want that safe haven. Gold, silver, amazing safe havens for when the rest of the market is plummeting. So yeah, hold in that, and still make some money on the side whilst the rest of the market is falling, and then deploy that cash finally, ready for it. The projection for this year is not great. Again, I presume you're new to the channel, so you haven't watched the recording that we've done on the market after the most recent interest rate decision from the Fed. But the projections on the CME website of markets and the Fed's interest rates coming up in May. Okay, so they're pricing in a pause, whereas the Fed has said that terminal rates are peaking at 5.25. So there's room for another rate hike, right? So again, this is why CPI is going to be very, very important coming next month on the 12th. And then in July, the markets are pricing in a rate cut. Now, this isn't even on the Fed's base case, a rate cut for 2023, and the market is pricing in that. It's something like an 88% chance that they're predicting that a rate cut is coming in July. So if the data doesn't show signs, then you can bet the market is going to fall. I mean, you even saw how the market reacted on the interest rate hike of 25 basis points that the market was expecting anyway. The market was expecting a 25 basis point on the last rate hike. Now, if they're pricing in and expecting a pause and the Fed increases, imagine the reaction that the market is going to take to that. But yeah, predictions for gold long term: buy up, hold. Silver, even better. Silver's it's a very, very good area to place. But yeah, bullish on it. Short term, you're going to. I mean, at the moment, as you can see, we're kind of compressing, right? Kind of holding this trend line here, and we're compressing here, right? So I presume we're just going to continue and then break out to the upside. Alright, so we're making some cash. Okay, beautiful. That's exactly what we want to see. 156% on Matic. Okay. Told you guys, be patient. Can you recommend 2 or 3 indicators? Volume, moving averages, and Fibonacci's or order blocks. If you don't know about order blocks, go and learn order blocks. But yeah, volume definitely is number one. learn volume and the relationship between price action and volume. That is how to read it. Unfortunately, there is quite a lot of misinformation on the internet. So you might get a little bit confused, but yeah, the main point is, okay, what is price action, price doing, and compare it. Okay, compare it to, okay, what is volume doing? Is it moving in the same direction? Is it diverging? Or yeah, that's essentially the way that you should be reading it. Okay, but it's a broad topic. Okay, so it'll take you a little bit of time, and you need to go through examples really. But yeah, volume. Cash. No problem. But yeah, if you don't know about order blocks, learn order blocks. It's a fundamental, really, just because it follows liquidity. So yeah, it's you got to follow where the liquidity is, where's the supply, where's the demand. Yeah, order blocks, volume, they all go kind of hand in hand. Thank you for the follows. Thank you for the likes as well, guys. Very much appreciated. We're ending the month on a high note. That is for sure. And we're making a move. Woo! See, oil is making that a huge move. Gold structure isn't the best, to be honest. FTM absolutely flying. We've already cashed out on FTM, so I mean, well done to everyone that got involved. If you're still holding, well done. You're up. Matic, let's see if we can make that break. It's rebounded off that 618 very nicely, picking up on that buy side volume. We are coming up to that liquidity zone right there. So let's see how far this can make a push. Obviously, I mean, we're past that open now, so it's nice. It's very nice. This is breaking through. Guys, I mean, the TA couldn't have gone any better today, right? Couldn't have gone any better. Charles, if you're in here, patience pays off, right? I shot sheriff. Yeah, I mean that data is really good data that we do have actually a good potential to break through this top here. Yeah, volatility is going to be good today just because, again, end of the week, end of the month, end of the quarter. Let's see. And we're looking good. Let's see if we can really break down, push towards this trend line. Be nice.
Four short stops. There's a guy named Bogarts. It's maybe the weakest of the four, but hey, it's just an opinion. Really, up to yesterday, they weren't sure they'd be on TV. And I was stunned, Michael Barr. The idea that
yeah, oil's really going for it.
All that success, and are we going to be on TV?
Well, the way this happened, everything just blew up when it came to the way we used to watch it. The affiliates.
Okay.
Just went to
antenna. I got the Zenith with the antenna, and Yankees baseball comes in blurry, which is a good thing. Oh, where are we going on this bankruptcy of regional?
Yeah, this is not good. This is kind of the branded name is Bally Sports. It's owned by the largest part by the largest television station owner in the country, Sinclair Broadcast Group, and it filed for bankruptcy. And this is a problem because they own a lot of the regional sport networks around the country, and those are the networks that really provide the financial support for Major League Baseball, the NHL, and a little bit the NBA, not the NFL. So if you're a regional Major League Baseball team, you're really at risk there. Jerry Smith from Bloomberg News provides the best reporting, and he's saying there's a lot of these smaller market teams are really at risk here because that was a big revenue stream.
On the show, by the way, for Bloomberg Business.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, look at that. Nice promotion there from Michael Barr. Dow up 178 points. It's a wonderful Friday.
Let's have a look at Algo. See what's happening on that front. Has it mooned? Well, it hasn't mooned. Still a little bit down. Look at that sea of green. Jesus. Yeah. Beautiful. Beautiful.
We're living in an age of unprecedented risk, but for well-prepared companies and investors, risks can become opportunities. Listen to and follow The Risk Opportunity wherever you get your podcasts now.
Yeah.
We're going to go live to Taipei.
Curtis has more from Hong Kong.
In Davos, Switzerland, our David Weston.
Bloomberg's Tommaso Ebhardt has more from Milan. Bloomberg's Simon Demikan reports from Istanbul.
Bloomberg Radio, on the ground, everywhere.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
Jelly. Jelly adjective. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Even at a time when almost nothing is easy, one thing has been effortless.
Now, our most important stories of the morning.
Accessing the world's latest financial and political news.
Fears of a global recession grow.
Wake up with Bloomberg Daybreak Europe Edition. Available now on your podcast feed. Each weekday morning.
Alright, we're going to close this AUD JPY. I'm going to take that cash and run.
Access a vast selection of global fixed income securities at Interactive Brokers Bond Marketplace. Search their deep availability.
Yeah, we'll take that. I will take that happily.
Has no markups or built-in spreads and low, fully transparent commissions on bonds. IBKR displays the highest bids and lowest offers received from the electronic venues they access. In addition, clients can interact with each other by placing bids and offers online to execute their trades. Learn more at ibkr.com/bonds.
Markets, headlines, and breaking news 24 hours a day at Bloomberg.com, on Bloomberg Television, and the Bloomberg Business app. This is a Bloomberg Business Flash.
It's 9:46 on Wall Street. I'm Karen Moscow, and U.S. stocks are edging higher as we close out the quarter after a key measure of U.S. inflation.
Okay. Right, amazing. I'm going to let these crypto trades do their thing. Okay. Yeah. We'll let it warm up, let it do its thing. But yeah, I mean, we're cashing in some nice profit. Okay, we just got these crypto trades open and running. Once I close the Matic trade, I will get the end of the month report done and sent out. I'm going to let price just move a little bit more. Let the European close come into play and finish. And then get a market update out for you guys so that at least you're updated for the weekend entering into a new month. And then, yeah, I'll be back with the live stream on Monday. I'll do another market update on Sunday. as normal, kind of updating and recording in terms of the week ahead. But yeah, guys, thank you very much for joining me. This is, I mean, I won't be coming live for the rest of the day. But yeah, it's been amazing. As always, thank you very much. Thank you for everyone who's followed and liked. And yeah, I'll get a market update. Just do bear in mind, the market update will not be sent to TradingView. No more market updates get sent to TradingView, only live streams. But yeah, amazing. Well done for everyone that got involved. This week has been really, really good. So yeah, bring on the new quarter, the new month. So thank you, cheers, and I'll see you soon. Cheers.